Alrighty, welcome back to the Arena Football Nation channel. I hope you are doing well. And in today's video, we are going to take a look at Week 0 and Week 1 of Arena Football 1 for this 2025 season. It was a great start to the league at the end of the day. I thought there were some bright spots. Games were pretty solid, and the production value was good as well. So a lot to get into, so let's get right into it. Alright, so to start off the inaugural season of Arena Football 1, we had the first game of the year in Week 0, and that was in Dodge City, Kansas, as the Southwest Kansas Storm hosted the Nashville Cats. So really quick to get started, we'll just do a quick overview and then talk some more about the games, but I really wanted to touch on some things that were pretty important, and that was, I thought the stream quality was really well done. I mean, they have the Evergreen Now app, I believe is what it was called, but real easy process to get started, make an account, good to go, jumped right into the action, had a great score bug, never was, confused about what down it was, the score, anything like that. So I was pretty impressed with that. And also the fans showed out and supported really well for the Southwest Kansas Storm. I was pretty impressed with that. They got a solid fan base, it looks like, there in Kansas and Dodge City. And yeah, that was a really good game showing by them. Overall, had no more issues. The field looked solid. I think you had a good wall with plenty of ads running along. So just a quick overview of some of the things that we gripe about when it comes to these leagues. I thought the Southwest Kansas Storm did a great job. Nashville Cats, they had their uniform. Unfortunately, they had the uniforms from last season. I will say that, but that wasn't their fault. Obviously, the uniform supplier already, came out and said it was an issue on their end, and they're going to fix that and have everything good going forward. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty solid game. Quality of the stream and what we had on the field, and of course the athletes did a fantastic job. They always go pretty hard in these games. They did last year in Arena Football 3.0, so definitely had no gripes there. I think they leave it all on the field, these players. So just a really quick recap of the quality, as this was their first time showing a game and what they had to offer as Arena Football 1. But just to continue off of that, you had a really strong showing by the Southwest Kansas Storm. They ended up winning the game 40-26 over the Nashville Cats. And man, it was I was pretty impressed with what I saw. It was a pretty slow start, that first half. Kind of a snooze fest, I gotta be honest. But once both teams, settled in and really found their groove and got a feel for the game, it definitely picked up and got a lot more exciting in that second half. So, I mean, you obviously had some feeling each other out there, as this was the first game for both teams and for these players for this season. But both teams, they had their opportunities in the first half, but failed to reach the end zone in that first quarter. But a 47-yard touchdown pass from Storm quarterback Jalen Morton to Shiloh Flanagan, that would be the first touchdown in league history there in that second half. So that was a pretty solid pass. It was awesome. So really exciting there. The Cats quickly answered the Storm's score with a touchdown run by running back Carlton Brown after a missed extra point, and then the halftime score then was 7-6 with the Storm holding the lead. So like I said, pretty slow start, but there at the end you really saw some fireworks and it was pretty exciting. But you had a second half, like I said, way more exciting, big explosion there with the Storm almost scoring on the first play of the second half with Morton just missing his wide open receiver. But it wouldn't take long for them to get on the board and kick off a high-scoring second half. After switching back and forth at quarterback in the first half between Jake Dunaway and Corey Curtis, the Cats decided to stick with Dunaway the second half exclusively, and that worked out for them, as I think they really got the offense going at that point. Teams exchanged scores in that third quarter. You had Nashville taking over their first lead of the game with just over 11 minutes remaining, and after a Jake Dunaway touchdown pass, turnovers proved to be the backbreaker for the Cats, as Michael Lawson stole the show and became the star of the game. Cats turned the ball over 7 times in the game, and Lawson got 3 interceptions, including 2 pick sixes with less than 3 minutes 30 seconds left in the game. and that just put the final touches of it on the game for the Storm to get the victory. So yeah, like I said, MVP had to be Michael Lawson. He earned the player of the game for this one with those game-sealing pick sixes down the stretch there, and really solidified the win for them. So South Kansas Storm looking like they have a solid defense, which was huge, in the arena game. And for I would say the South Kansas Storm's first arena football game, it couldn't have gone much better in this new league. So pretty excited for them. You had Morton completing 13 passes for 169 yards and 3 touchdown passes. And of course, his beautiful 47-yard touchdown pass would go down in league history as the first ever in Arena Football 1. And most importantly for the Storm, Morton protected the ball and didn't throw any interceptions. So that's pretty solid on his part. All right, so like I said, a little bit of a slow start, but overall a pretty solid game. And the production value was really well done for Arena Football 1 and for the Southwest Kansas Storm. So excited to see what they have going forward to offer. Hopefully Nashville bounces back. I mean, obviously first game, jitters, filling each other out, all that good stuff. Things would be fine, most likely, once we make some adjustments going down the stretch. All right, let's jump into our next game. And that would be in Week 1 with the Billings Outlaws traveling to take on the Oregon Lightning. And this game really was all Billings Outlaws. I gotta be honest. They pretty much dominated throughout the game. Oregon Lightning had their bright spots here and there. Things were kind of clicking and coming together, but just that offensive production and power from the Billings Outlaws was just too much to overcome. And this was a divisional rival game, obviously, with between the Outlaws and the Lightning. And it was, like I said, all Billings. This game felt like it could be potential for game of the week. But after some halftime adjustments made by the Outlaws, they just tore on through a huge lead in that second half. You had Cedric Walker, who led the teams, have consistently shown why they dominate the arena football game. Having an excellent run game is one of the many differences fans would notice when they watch the Outlaws and their play. You got some really solid line play that just disrupting the trenches there, and Billings just looked as good as they were advertised. They obviously defending champs from Arena Football 3.0 last season, so of course they're going to re-up and look to repeat in 2025. But like I said, Oregon had their bright spots. Connections between Dalton Cole and Chris Lewis should be one of the best in the league. You have Billings struggling to contain them, but the Lightning really had no answers on defense for the Outlaws, who pretty much had their way throughout the game. And you ended up having, a final score for this game be the Billings Outlaws won 78-36. So pretty impressive showing from Billings. And like I said, early on, Oregon seemed to have a pretty tough time getting it together. But Chuck Jones and the Lightning didn't falter, battling back multiple times. So like I said, had their opportunities. There like some good fight in them, but when Outlaws would just go on and pour on those touchdowns, it got tough to be able to battle back when it was hard to hold them on defense. Billings was just managing to march down on the field every drive, and it was a good shootout there for a little bit, but it just got to be too much, especially after that 2 quarters were over. Billings adjusted on the few things they needed to. And you had the coaching staff clamp down on the Lightning air attack. And then between the defensive line causing havoc in the backfield or making plays in the secondary, Billings just, simplified things, gelled it in, and held Oregon to only 12 points in the second half. The Outlaws took such a commanding gap. The reserves for Billings came in during the 4th quarter. So that just gives you a good outlook at how solid the Outlaws were able to throw it together. Had some great defense, obviously, on both sides until Outlaws started to pull away. But other than that, really solid game, and I was pretty impressed. Out of the Oregon Lightning, looks like they're gonna have to, obviously retool some things, regroup. But man, what a tough test throughout the game 1 to be facing the Billings Outlaws, defending champs from the previous league. So I would expect them to be just fine. Oregon Lightning, maybe they'll make some adjustments and be able to regroup Billings just looking like a solid contender already. Game 1 out the door for the Arena Football 1. So the only thing really I can say about this game, when it comes to the quality, stream, didn't think it was bad either. I think it was a decent stream for first season, second game, I should say, of the season. Fans look like it could have been a little bit better. I wouldn't say it was terrible showing by the fans, but I was hoping for a little bit better. It looks like there was a lot of empty seats when I was watching the stream. But overall, I guess you could say a decent amount of fans for the first game. Once the word gets spread around about the team, maybe some more will come. But there were some issues. I didn't think the arena they're playing in was very good to look at. You have some heavy machinery, past the end zones, forklift or whatever it was, or something. I couldn't really tell exactly what it was, but you had those just sitting off to the side, a lot of empty space past each end zone. The walls were, for the field were a little messy with the ads. I think I even saw at one point, I'll post a picture of the NAL logo visually being seen at one point. And the walls you had a lot of hard hits in this game. A lot of solid tackles and plays, and the wall would just give away. And then you have people run up, or a ref or a player or whatever run up and try to fix the wall. So those reinforcements were holding pretty well. So it was kind of sloppy and messy. Didn't like to see that. That's semi-pro type of stuff you would see. So that quality there wasn't that good. But overall, stream-wise, once again, I knew exactly what the score was. I saw the play clock, what down it was. So, and then you had multiple angles. Well, I'd say maybe 2 visually of the game, but other than that was the arena was a little disappointing. But other than that, it was a great game. Players play hard. It was great football to watch. So Billings going big in their first game of the season there. All right, next game we had the Corpus Christi Tritons hosting the Salina Liberty. So for this game, I was pretty excited. Coming into it for Corpus Christi, I thought they were a really, solid franchise in their first season in the league they were in, and good branding. I mean, Corpus Christi has been a city that's had many teams come and go. So I was hoping maybe this would be the first one to really solidify themselves and continue to grow, really plant their flag there as a legitimate franchise going forward. And like I said, I was really excited for them going into the NAL this year. Thought they're going to have a solid season, be one of the a playoff contender going out the gates. Outside of that Columbus game, the championship game last season, thought they were pretty solid. Had some good weapons, good quarterback play, defense was solid. So really excited to see where they are going into this game. And of course, Salina Liberty, they're a good franchise. Been pretty solid past couple of years overall. So they're not no brand new team or a expansion franchise themselves. So figured this would be a good game to see where the Tritons really are, and then also where the Liberty stack up. And man, was I shocked to see the Tritons looked really solid in this game, really taking control and taking it to the Liberty at this point. With their season opener being a win at home against Liberty, 40-12. And I mean, it was just from the coin toss. They did not stop just going right after the Liberty and looking really impressive. So the most impactful part of the game for the Tritons was their just unrelenting defense. It was really getting after Liberty the whole time. Pressure was constantly being applied to Liberty QB Javin Kilgo. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. Javin, but he only went down behind the line of scrimmage a couple of times thanks to his immobility. However, most of the damage was really done when the ball was his hand. So it was really some good ball hog defense. I mean, Tritons were running around the field like crazy, making plays, because they were able to tack on 6 interceptions. Yes, 6. Absolutely insane. Dwayne Hollis and Lakeith Murray had 1 each. Impressive. But you had Isaiah McFarland hauling in 4 of his own, returning 2 of them for a touchdown. So really impressive defensive play from the Tritons. You love to see that early on all this great defensive play, because it's man, you win a lot of games with defense, obviously. So Tritons defense, they were just shutting down a Liberty all the way up until the end of the third quarter, but it was a botched snap in their own territory, allowing Dwayne Autry a short scoop and score. The Liberty offense did not make their way to the end zone until late in the fourth quarter. So, like I said, Liberty, they had a great season last year. They ended up third in their league with a 6-2 record and was only a game away from making the championship. So, the performance and just the quality of the play, it was pretty surprising. Like I said, I thought there would be a very stout, challenge for the Tritons to be their first game of the season. But man, were we just kind of proven wrong there. You just had a dominant run game, but we had seen in prior seasons, but it did not hold up, and the offensive line was simply overwhelmed by the Tritons defense. Kilgo did his best to avoid rushers and did a pretty decent job. Being flushed out of the pocket constantly meant he had to make many throws on the run or across his body. It was hard for him to make those adjustments, constantly being pressured, and the offense ended up going 0 for 5 on fourth downs and a measly 1 for 6 on third downs. So the Liberty is definitely going to take a look at this game afterwards and see what adjustments need to be made there on that line to help avoid that pressure that they were constantly getting. But could just be the Tritons are a really solid team, and we were just surprised going into this game at how well they were going to do. But player of the game obviously has to go, no doubt, to Isaiah McFarland on the Tritons. He was a force in every aspect of the game. Really being a ball hawk, doing some crazy good plays there, and reading the offense. Like it was in a little kindergarten chapter book, man. And the stats show that. He got 6 interceptions with 2 touchdowns and a handful of tackles, and a tackle for a loss, and contributed 12 points, but heavily influenced the momentum of the game. So solid play from him. Some other impact players for the Tritons, you had the entire defensive line. They're just going to get praised for how much pressure they applied. Robert Fuentes and Torrance Williams stand out as also players who made some key swats there on the line when it came to the passing game for the Liberty. You can also can't help but not talk about the impact without mentioning Fred Payton Jr., the quarterback's debut with the Tritons. Saw 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns, so solid job for Fred Payton as well. Man, while it might have just been a really hard night overall for the Liberty, you couldn't help but see a pretty solid showing in the end for Luis Gonzalez. He is a rookie in the arena game, but he showed a lot of good promise in this game that night. So it was a tough night for a rush, but keep in mind he did end up putting up 900 rushing yards and 40 touchdowns in college ball. So no slouch, pretty impressive there on that front. And that's definitely a guy that the Salina is going to be able to work with, and will need to put a lot of pressure on to do some damage going forward. So I really think you can expect to see some solid things from him. So that would do it. The only thing I want to say about the quality of this game was, I feel like there should have been more fans of this game. Second year for the Tritons. Really was hoping more. Maybe on the other side of the camera you had a ton of fans, but really was hoping for a better showing. Maybe going forward, like I said, once the word starts getting passed around, the game, the Tritons are back in play, and more people will start coming out. But was really hoping for a little bit better showing there. But the field of play looked fine overall, quality. The only other thing that I saw that was kind of disturbing was you made such a big deal about the nets, right? Arena football, 3.0 and Arena Football 1, they made such a big deal about the nets, the rebound nets. Got to have the rebound nets, got to do Arena Football, right? Well, there's only one set of nets on one side of the field, not the other. So, pretty confusing to me how there was just such a big deal and push about the nets. And here we are week 1, and one team doesn't even have both end zones covered. Just throwing it out there. I mean, that looks kind of weird. I mean, it's sloppy to me. Like, how do you only have one set of nets when that's your whole premise of your league? But other than that, you also had no ads on the walls. throughout the whole field. And I know that's one way, obviously, teams can, procure a lot of financial, help to run these teams, to support these teams. So, little bit of a worry there for the Tritons. I hope everything's going to be good for them going forward. And maybe that's just a simple issue that could be fixed. Like maybe they just haven't applied them yet. But, yeah, definitely don't want to see any issues like that. Because like I said, I think the Tritons are a pretty solid franchise and they have a bright future. I mean, especially they keep playing like this. That's why I really want those fans to come out and support them, because I think that this is a good brand of football and a good team that they can get behind and support. All right, so that'll do it for that game. Now to finish up week 0 and 1, week 1's little recap here in this video. You had the South Kansas Storm going to the Washington Wolfpack. So, South Kansas Storm coming off that big win in week 1. This would be the season opener for the Washington Wolfpack. And this is just putting a cap on the end of the season, or week 1 for Arena Football 1. And, yeah, you had the Storm going up north in the Pacific Northwest there to face the Wolfpack. And after picking up that big win, we were really excited to see what really are the Storm made of. Can they repeat that, or it was just lightning in a bottle? What were we really dealing with? Because that was a really impressive showing. So we're excited to see if they can keep that up. And then you also got the Wolfpack. What kind of team are they going to be this year going into this new season? Well, gotta say, pretty impressed as the Storm would prevail in this game with a score of 63-33. Yes, another big win by the Storm, so pretty impressive. And man, what a way to just keep that momentum going. For the second week in a row, it was a defensive work from the Storm that went up taking over the game. They forced turnovers at an alarmingly crazy rate and stalled out a lot of the early efforts from the Wolfpack. Defense even got in on the scoring themselves, putting Washington in an early hole. While quarterback change wound up sparking some of the Washington offense going forward, it wasn't enough to claw back from the hole they had dug themselves in. Ultimately, with the Storm winning the game big. So, yeah, it didn't take long for the Storm to get on the board, apart from a couple of odd, incomplete passes. The first possession was largely flawless. You had the quarterback for them, Jalen Morton, completing 2 passes each for the first downs before eventually running the ball in himself for the first 6 of the game. The whole drive took just a couple minutes off the clock and lasted a total of 5 plays. Second possession was all that different. While they saw some hiccups and a blown up run attempt and challenge that went through Shiloh Flanagan's hands, or touchdown went through his hands, excuse me. They got back on the board shortly thereafter. This time Flanagan should make up for it with a 3rd down catch to bring them to 12. Like I said, really didn't look back there after that. You had the Wolfpack, trying to make adjustments and to get it together. But once the Storm settled in, there was just no real going back. Biggest takeaways, while Washington managed to get on the board and seemed to be finding their footing, you got that suffocating defense from South Kansas Storm. And after dominating on that side of the ball against Nashville last week, their defensive backs ratted again. They nabbed 4 interceptions, which included 2 that were taken to the house. They paired that with a couple of fumbles and key moments that took the wind out of Washington's sail. One came on the first long drive of the game from the home squad. The second came after a long catch and run from Deshaun Williams, who gave it away after picking up nearly 20 yards. You had some bright spots for Washington, which was really Adam Cruz, who went 13 for 26 for 159 yards. He ran for a touchdown on the ground and tossed 4 touchdowns. Each of those touchdowns went to a different receiver, so clearly sharing the love, getting everybody in the game. And they clearly found good chemistry with Deshaun Williams. Williams nabbed 9 catches for 137 yards and snagged 1 of the touchdowns as well. It'll be interesting to see if Cruz gets a nod in week 2 or if they go back to Joseph Hess and give him another chance. So that was a quick little recap. Overall, yeah, once again, stream was not bad at all. Good quality. You had the score bug at the bottom. Washington's field, not the biggest fan of their field. Is it bad? No. I think overall the quality was good. I'm not a big fan of the spray paint look in the end zones. Decent amount of fans there. I think, you know, for the fact that they were a expansion franchise last year in the AFL 3.0, and then you come into this season, I was impressed with the amount of fans they had there. So good showing by them overall. Yeah, the stream and the quality was good. I gotta be honest, I was pessimistic and I wasn't expecting it to be as good quality as it was going into this season for AFL or Arena Football 1, excuse me. But I think it's working out so well. I mean, and you got it's free on Evergreen now. The quality and the ability to watch the games was quick and easy. So got to give props where they're due. You know, I'm not going to just be overly negative on this league. I want to give them props where they're due. And I was really impressed with the quality of play. You know, this is 4 games in. I think the players are like mid-season form. I mean, you got these defenses making extremely awesome plays, doing a really good job running around the field, and some really explosive offensive plays as well. So, you know, props to the players. They're playing leaving it all on the field, you know, and doing a great job making it entertaining for us fans. So fantastic play from them, and it's been some really good games, some surprises, you know, big takeaways. The Storm 2-0 in these first 2 games. They're looking pretty dominant, especially that defense. So pretty impressive what I've seen so far. We'll get a little preview of the next week, week 2. So yeah, we're going to have the Southwest Kansas Storm. They're going to be traveling to, you know, the Firebirds, Albany Firebirds. And really excited for this game, as it is the Firebirds' first game of the season. So we're going to see where they are and what we're going to get from them. You know, I'm fully expecting them to have a really solid team. Their roster, they you know, re-upped really well. A lot of big names. So really excited to see them play, obviously, because usually it's a lot of fun to watch. And what a great challenge, you know, an up-and-coming Southwest Kansas Storm, 2-0, and their defense is looking really solid. Big, you know, 2 big wins. So this is going to be their first real big challenge going to this game against a team who was in the championship last year, has a good pedigree. So really excited for that one. It'll be on Friday, March 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that one will be on Vice TV. So really looking forward to that game. And then you're going to have the Oregon Lightning going to take on the Washington Wolfpack. Both teams coming off, you know, their first games. Tough losses, obviously. So someone's going to get their first win of the season, right? But, you know, looking to see what can each team do. What adjustments can they make going to this game? I think this is a you know, solid opportunity for these teams to bounce back. Either one, make those adjustments and get on the straight and narrow. Get on the winning side of things. And yeah, really excited to see what we have here in this Pacific Northwest rivalry. All right, everybody, that will do it all for those first 4 games. You had week 0 and then week 1. So a lot of good games. Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised, and props are when they're due, they're due. And hopefully we can keep this positivity going. And once again, like I said, the players look fantastic. You know, really excited to see what more we have in store for us, as the quality of play on the field has been great so far. All right, everybody, that will do it for our Week 0 and Week 1 recap for Arena Football 1. If you enjoy this kind of content and you want to follow along with us all season in all the leagues, we cover everything, do recaps. Then I'd appreciate if you subscribe and help join us, the Arena Football Nation, as we march on to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal right now, so help us get there. And like the video if you appreciated this, as you know, that helps us know that we are doing a good job and you enjoy the content. So it just gives us all that more, you know, the ability to want to continue to do good. So we really appreciate it when everybody likes the videos and obviously subscribes and shows us that we are worth their time and effort. All right, everybody, that'll do it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.